Hey guys, my name is Anton, and this is a video where I finally get to show you how I make one of my hardstyle kicks. I'm not wearing the right headphones. Let's try that again. Yeah, I made this video yesterday actually, and it took me an hour to get to where I got to here. And the reason you're not seeing that video is because OBS and Streamlabs messed up with my capture card, which is the Razer Ripsaw HD, and basically the video output froze about 45 minutes in, and no, actually even before that. And it was recording the audio. It was just the at some point you didn't see anything else besides my kick sample, the 909, and yeah, that was a bummer. So I'm not going to do that video again because I won't have the same results, and I like very much what I have right now. So this is actually sort of an in-between video, so I'm just going to go through my effects chain and show you what I did to achieve the sound that I currently have. And then I guess I'll make a different video in the very near future, maybe even tonight, where I make the rest of the kick. It'll probably be 2 videos because there's quite a lot to do. What I have so far is a sub and the first character, but I want to add a second character and I need a talk. So those will take some time, and yeah. So let's get to it. Let's see. Okay, so I won't have to explain a whole lot. I have a video on my hardstyle kick workflow. You can watch that. But yeah, so this is, if it shows up. Whoops. Oh, that's why. No, remind me later. Right. I usually have the kick 2 with the 909 that I modified a little bit. Details are not that relevant, but I pitch my kicks at F#1. I'll explain that some other day. And I actually have this bounced out. Well, actually, they're not the same. But this one is 800 milliseconds long, roughly. So for a hardstyle track that's 150 BPM, it's 2 beats. And I want that because I want there to be extra sonic information after 400 milliseconds, which is in case I want to play a really long kick, and so then there's information to loop around, rather it being in the first 400 milliseconds where you want that to have the character that it's supposed to have and not have it loop over and over. So yeah, that's I can show you what that sounds like. Let's see. I will turn off my sonic sonar works to show you the things, but when I make my kicks I have to turn it on just because it's sonically important for me to hear things correctly. So I'll turn this one off. So this, and let me unroute these. Just turn these off. Yeah, pretty standard 909, nothing complicated. I route that to a mixer track where I have my effects chain. So let me do that. And I'll do these one by one. So first is I got, just crush this thing, basically. Whoops, I need to route this. Right. Then I have, I saw this from, I think it's Audio Frequencers? I don't remember who. But they said to do a low shell for low pass on the thingy so that not too much of the bass is going into the distortion plugins later. So that's what I did here. Yeah, linear phase as well, because you want to introduce a lot of phase changes. So, right. Now I have another distortion. I didn't really think too hard about this. It sounded right to me. But it's bipolar, so yeah, it's just there's a lot of mid stuff happening here. Yeah, and some movement in the top, but that's gonna go away. And again, doing the whole distortion EQ back and forth, I've got the low shelf again, so now I've got one more saturation kind of thing. So now that low end is nice. And this is where I do my low pass, because it is a sub after all, and I pick A sharp 3. That's the third above the fundamental for F sharp 1. So in a raw style kick, the most prominent harmonics are the root, the fifth, and the third. With the fifth and third, like couple octaves up, but those are the most obvious, and I like to sort of low pass everything just above that. High cut, yeah, anyway. So that's what that does. A little bit of reverb, I think it's 25% with whatever. Doesn't add a whole lot, but these things are about subtleties. And low cut at 40 hertz, so won't make a huge difference. And finally, I got the max loudness slight saturation preset here. It sounds nice. It's nice and full on the bottom, so there's that. Anyway, arm it for recording. Bounce this guy out by Control E, selecting this part, which is one full measure. This is my workspace. And then, yeah, when I'm done with my plugins, if there's any latency, I just turn them all off. Don't want that doing anything. I bounced that out. I shaped it within a volume envelope. I don't want this extra stuff at the end, and 200 milliseconds of extra content is good. So there's that, and then and so this is 400 milliseconds here, and here is 100, and the talk, you want to leave headroom for it for at least 15 milliseconds. Depends what kind of talk you're making. And so I make my sub like come in full around 100, maybe just a little bit, just to get that thump on the bottom. So yeah, so this bottom part of the kick is still there for that slight low impact. So yeah, there's that. Sub is done there, and I think I need to do that. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so that's my sub. Then for the character, I did a lot of random stuff. So same deal. 909 sample into a mixer track. Right. Okay, so this is Yeah, the same idea from Audio Freak or Frequencers. So low shelf, but I decided this time I want to just cut out all the bottom parts. And here's my cruncher. Pretty standard. Now here I have an EQ, same thing, low shelf and low cut. And as with anything, you start boosting the mid frequencies. That's where the character comes from. I use a bunch of peaks. I feel like not a lot of people really know why you're doing this, or why you do it in a particular way. Well, I mean, this is how I do it at least, or what I've figured out. I've noticed that a lot of hardstyle kicks, they sound almost like voices, like a bam, like kind of sound. And when my background is a linguist, so I know that vowels have formants, and so they're just peaks in the frequency spectrum. They're a certain, amount of frequency space apart. I don't know exactly, but that's basically what I tried to reproduce here. So like there's a peak here, 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 and here. Now I can't remember if no, I didn't automate these. These ones are static. So, it almost sounds like, it's starting to sound like one of those old ass synthesizers, voice synthesizer thingies. Anyway, so there's that. I went nuts, well, not that nuts, with the bipolar distortion, so yeah. And this one, I believe, yeah, this one I've got automation clips. So the thing with the automation is that I have the automation starting before my start point, and that's because I don't want the points to suddenly jump from the end here to where they need to be. So I give it a little bit of time for FL to get all the stuff ready. So that's why I have the automation started before the sample even starts. I also do my samples, render them from before the start. I didn't do it up here, but I do it from this point on. And it's for the same reason. You might see some clicking and stuff just because of how plugins work and stuff. So wow, right? That's that like voice or vocal kind of sound. Same thing, EQ. Oh no, sorry, reverb. I decided to use trash. I picked Sputter. I went through a lot of these. These towards the end of the distort group sound amazing. Like, I don't know. I thought 10-inch spike was super awesome. It's just, it was a little too much for me, and I'll show you what it sounds like. So this is Sputter. See, now that's starting to sound a little more like a proper kick. 10-inch spike was pretty cool too. It's just there was too much of the squelchy sound, and I didn't really want that, so I went with Sputter. But yeah, I left a note for myself here. This is just shaping. I did some dynamic EQ. I don't know how many people use that, but yeah, it's just to get even frequency response is more what this is about. Oh, and I automated this thing here just for some more movement. Another wave shaper, just not as aggressive. Bipolar, of course. I don't remember what to say. Yeah. some more EQ. Right. Lastly, I had sausage fattener because why not? And then Maximus, I think it's the Sound Goodizer A preset. It's one of my favorites. Yeah. I picked that. I don't know. Yeah, don't know. And finally, because it's a character, I don't need any bass content really. So at my good old trusty A#3 and a brick wall at 40. So I think what I did here was I actually probably picked this partly by playing it along with a sub. Just to make sure that they sounded good together. It's important to do. For which I obviously decided that they did sound good together. So that's what I end up with. So all together so far, I have. Is everything routed? Okay, maybe I'll just. Yeah, so there's a lot of work to be done. Like, probably the volume of this needs to be turned down a bit. Like, I don't need it to be that high. It's probably imbalanced. Just an easy way to tell. You know, I'm a little curious now. I guess I could try bouncing this and see what happens. Huh, yeah. What do you know? Obviously need to normalize this thing, but it looks pretty cool. Yeah, I just want to. Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of things I can do. I could mess with the phase shift. I should probably turn down the character a little bit. But this is just good looking start actually. It doesn't look that bad. The mid-highs are a little annoying, but yeah, that's what I got basically in 1 hour. I will not make this video any longer than it has to be, so that'll be it for now. I will make a second video where I create the other character in the talk. So until then, see ya.